Nobody wanted to hire a guitar man.
Well, I'm not the kind to kiss and tell, but I've been seen with Farrah.
That's why I'm leaving it all up to you.
Foolish earthlings, this music makes you stupid and weak. And when you're at your lowest point, that is precisely when we will attack.
A most interesting concept.
Imagine that.
I'm on tour. Do you live on it?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to live there.
Not really. Girls walk around our school with like little teddy bear backpacks on. It's like, they're freshmen. They're right into high school. You can see the leader.
Hey, this is the return of Mike Freedom. We're at a popular venue at Corpus Christi's 6 Points. We're here to prove to the skeptics that Corpus Christi does have a thriving music culture.
Texas has several fine theatrical groups now operating in several major cities. And then there is a group in Rockport that goes wherever the audience is, wherever in the country that might be.
Just take 35 South into Rockport, and you'll come in right onto Austin Street. And don't worry about missing the office because it's right on Austin, and Austin Street's only a few blocks long. And you can see the Alpha Omega sign over the office. It'll say either Alpha Omega Players or Repertory Theater of America. It's easy to find.
The Repertory Theater of America is located in downtown Rockport, population 5,000. It is the parent company of a group called the Alpha Omega Players. Young actors, most of them college graduates, come here for the experience of performing night after night. They make their own costumes. Their publicity material is prepared here. And it is this office that is responsible for keeping the actors busy, booking them into colleges mostly, but also into churches and country clubs and military bases, and all kinds of service clubs and community organizations all over the country. The Repertory Theater of America got its start in Hollywood. It moved to Dallas in 1969 and down to Rockport in 1974.
Wait! And don't you ever do that again, you bully!
Yeah, okay, I'm not saying, Adam, when she's coming at you, when she's threatening you down here below, you know, after your takeout.
The man who started it all is still the director and producer, and he does most of the other things it takes to run a theater company. Drexel Riley got a large part of his theater training at Southwestern University in Georgetown and at the Dallas Theater Center. Drexel and his wife Jackie and their 2 boys had not been in Dallas very long when they decided there was no reason why they had to stay in a big city.
I realized that I was sort of in this for life, and we loved the small town life, and we loved the water, and we loved to fish, and we realized that we were not really dependent upon the large city to do the things, accomplish the things that we wanted to accomplish, and so we simply moved the organization here. And Rockport is a wonderful art community, and the performing arts were not represented here, and so that was another incentive to move to Rockport. He'll pick up whatever he wants.
The Alpha Omega Players come here to Rockport for a few weeks in the summer to rehearse. There are 3 companies of players and 4 actors in each company, and they are prepared to do 4 or 5 different plays when they go on the road. Drexel Riley directs all the shows for all 3 companies. It keeps him busy.
And what shall I find? Okay, then just pull down between the 2 ladies rather than to the center.
The actors get their share of experience, too. They are on the road for 10 months. Among them, the 3 companies may perform in 48 states. and there is more to their job than just acting.
The actor does everything. Sort of the basic philosophy here is learning by doing. And the actors not only perform major roles in 4 different shows, they also do all of the driving, all of the van packing and unpacking, all of the costumes and lights and props and everything that's connected with the theatrical organization, but also in addition to that, road jobs that are connected strictly with the business of touring. We have a financial secretary in each group, a transportation coordinator, and so each actor wears many, many different hats.
For the most part, they perform shortened versions of full-length plays, ranging from serious works like St. Joan to madcap melodrama. They do a contemporary version of the first encounter between Adam and Eve.
I think I felt a drop.
It's starting to rain.
May I come in?
Drexel Riley's job is not finished when the acting companies hit the road. He and his small staff will still have scheduling and rescheduling to do, keeping up with the traveling actors and making sure they are where they are supposed to be on any given night of the year. Group 1 may be in Boston, Group 2 in Boise, and Group 3 in Biloxi. And once in a while, Drexel has to fly out to join one of his companies to stand in for a sick actor, because the shows must go on.
What do you think about that, and what the fans think about it?
Well, I think the fans were pretty shocked when I walked out at the Coliseum when we were to shoot the concert footage. I could see their eyes just, that's not our George. You know, it's like, I go, you're right, it's dusty. Yeah, but it was just, you know, the whole thing was fun, and I enjoyed that part as much as any of it. You know, it was just something totally different, and it was neat to do.
You said once that you rode a bull one time and got about three jumps, and then said that was it for that. Yeah. What do you think about acting now that you've ridden that particular bull? Are you bitten by the bug?
Well, it's a little early to say. If this movie was to do really good, you know, if people like it, and I'd probably consider doing another movie, yeah.
Along with doing movies, you get to do publicity for the movies, and that's, you compare that once to being dental
Going to the dentist?
Yeah. And here you're in the middle of this junket. How's it been? Your teeth look like they're in good shape, by the way. Maybe you know something about that.
I've got a good dentist, by the way.
You know, guitar makers, I guess, are a dime a dozen, but good ones are really hard to find. And once somebody finds a good one, they tend to keep him or her a secret. Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret now. Come along and meet a guitar player and a guitar maker in the town of Gregory in San Patricio County.
I'm working on this guitar, which is a 12-string bass guitar. I like guitars, you know. Ever since I was 14, 15 years old, I like the Gene Autry, you know. When I go to the movies and see Gene Autry play the guitar, and I wanted to play the guitar. This is what you call a bajo sexto. It's a 12-string bass guitar. It's a little bit out of tune. I bought my first guitar way back there in Mississippi when I was picking cotton over there. A little bitty guitar, you know, which cost me about $9, you know. Then later on, you know, when I went into the Army and came out of the Army, I took some GI school, you know, trade school, and I took cabinet making, you know.
Guadalupe Reyes grew up in Mercedes, in the Valley. Took a course in cabinet making at a vocational school in Donna in 1949. That's where he acquired his appreciation and knowledge of wood. But within a few years, he went to work for Reynolds Aluminum, and he was with that firm for a long time. He forgot about guitars.
But then my sister-in-law married a musician, you know, and he wanted a guitar, so I made him a guitar, this type of guitar, which it was hard to get at that time, you know. It's a 12-string bass guitar. So I built him one, and somebody else saw it, and he wants it, you know, and he wants to keep on, you know. I was working, you know, as a hobby, you know. I keep it up as a hobby, you know. I was retired and have more time to work on my guitar, so I dedicate my time, more time in making guitars, so I kind of got a little better, you know, and I believe I know what I'm doing now.
Guadalupe Reyes works out of a shop behind his home in Gregory, across the bay north of Corpus Christi. He's busy, he's in demand, and not just for making guitars, but for repairing them as well.
Nobody's perfect when we first start, you know, but as time came along, I kept improving my work, and now people see these musicians, see my work, and they're interested in my work. They buy instruments from me because they like what I make, you know. They're stable instruments. They're not the prettiest instruments, but they're pretty stable, you know.
When we were researching the name Rincon del Oso in Spanish language dictionaries, we came upon the word rinconera. Rinconera is a cabinet design for the corner of a room. We found a corner cabinet at a place that looks like a butcher shop, but isn't. Rasmussen's is in downtown Rockport, where the art galleries of Austin Street run into the boat docks and fish markets of Rockport Harbor. At first glance, it looks like the sign says Rasmussen's Meat Market, but look closer. The word meat has been crossed out and replaced with the word wood. It's Rasmussen's Wood Market. Woodworker Joel Rasmussen started as a butcher.
Well, I spent 40 years in the meat business, and wood was always my hobby. When I got the idea to open this store, when I put that meat on the sign out front and crossed it out, well, then I had to carry the theme in here, and the old meat markets always had sawdust on the floor. So when I opened up this store, that's what I had to have. And just like this table here, it was an old meat block out of one of the old markets I used to work in. One day I was going to finish this off when I opened the store. I was going to refinish the whole top, and there was a couple of people that came in and just shamed me for that. They just wanted me to keep it original. So that's why it's as rough as it is. That's just the original meat block.
Walk through the sawdust and you'll come to what looks like a massive wood door for a meat locker with heavy steel hinges.
It's actually a cooler door, a locker door, and I just mounted it to the wall, and that's my nostalgia corner.
A chart shows the cuts of meat from a beef carcass, But what Rasmussen actually cuts these days is wood. A lot is custom work, like a display case designed to complement a collection of samurai swords.
So we're doing everything from kitchen units and full kitchens for new homes, remodeled, just anything people want. I tell people if they've got a picture of something they want or a measurement of something they want, we'll make it out of any type of material they want.
And of course, there's the Gulf coastal area. Texas has 373 miles Gulf shore and approximately 1,419 miles of bay shore. Goose Island, one of several parks located on the coast, gets its name from its shape, that of a goose in flight. Here, visitors can swim, fish, or merely contemplate the beauty of the ocean.
When I was a little girl, 6 years old, my father took me in our yard and pointed to the trees. He taught me the 6 simple words that were in our tree at that time. He then said, remember this, learn all that you can of beauty in your state.
That has been Connie Hager's motto all her life. For the past 80 years, she has been studying the birds of Texas. Connie began the lifelong pursuit of this knowledge in her hometown, a long way from the Gulf. She migrated to the coast when all of the hometown birds had been cataloged. Connie Hager has placed 700 varieties of birds in Texas. That is more species than any other state in the Union. She has seen more types of birds than any other individual in Texas. She has spotted in this state 5 species the National Audubon Society did not believe existed in this part of the country. In fact, the Society did not believe her report when she first turned it in, but it does now. Connie Hager has put so much of her life into birds and bird watching that the state has set aside a wildlife sanctuary near her home at Rockport. Connie's Wildlife Preserve is an ideal spot for birds and bird watchers. Birds seem almost domesticated around here, as though they've never been hunted. People from all over the country come to Rockport to drive to the water's edge and watch the birds. When she was younger and able, Connie spent all her free time near the water. Her late husband, Jack, didn't care much for birds, but he did care for Connie, and he saw to it every morning that her car was filled with gasoline so that she could drive to the water to watch the birds.
Is there anything that you still haven't done that you want to do?
As far as my life is concerned, everything in it has been completed just as I hoped it could be.
Along the marshes of the South Texas coast lies the winter home of another diminishing natural resource, the whooping crane. Here is one of the richest habitats for a tremendous variety of wildlife, fish, animals, and birds.
Would you believe there's oil right under this beautiful sanctuary? They've been producing it since 1940. Doesn't seem to have bothered the whooping cranes or any of the other wildlife. There are over 300 bird species that migrate here or live here all the time. The whooping crane population is precarious, holding now at 49. When they're wintering at Aransas, no pipelines are laid nor wells drilled near the birds. When they go back to Canada in May again, then the oilmen are notified and full-scale operations resume.
The Bay River Company is the first legal distillery in the state of Texas. While a lot of Texas farmers are getting into the gasohol business, Richard and Lawrence Wood and sister Marie Wood Farley of Refugio County are thinking there may be a bigger market in producing alcohol, the drinking kind. And so they have built a distillery on 130 acres of land outside Bayside. The place is called Sunshine Place, and it's located on the banks of the Mission River.
The local population has been very supportive. We had to have a local option election in order to build the distillery here, and of the 214 people that were allowed to vote, or were registered to vote, I should say, 194 showed up for the election, and we won by a 2-to-1 majority. So being the largest industry in Bayside, Texas, may I add, the only industry in Bayside, Texas, we are very happy for their support, but as well as we give job opportunities to people that probably would not have other options in this small rural agricultural area.
The fact that industry has overtaken Sunshine Place does not seem to have damaged the surroundings here. In fact, there may have been some improvements. Today, a man-made lake is a pleasant sight for visitors and a holding pond for the business. They use Texas rainwater in their products. An old ranch house built in the 1920s is the main office. And an 1891 schoolhouse moved here from nearby Blanconia has been restored. It's the reception center. They produce scotch, bourbon, vodka, and tequila here to the extent of more than 1 million bottles a year. The government guards them closely because the government has strict regulations for anyone producing alcohol. But the Wood family has survived the obstacles. And the liquor they call Texas Spirit is distributed around the state.
In trying to discover a name, we wanted to identify our product with Texas because it is a Texas homemade, homegrown product. Even the glass bottles are from Palestine, Texas. And we said spirit, spirits, and we realized that the word spirits with an S means alcohol, but the word spirit is a play on words, but also captures that very intangible specialness. One has never heard of Iowa Spirit. Not that there's anything wrong with Iowa, but there is just something special about how Texans think about this very native land of theirs.
Bill Demery is quick to point out that the Wood family is not trying to persuade people to drink, only to persuade those Texans already drinking to spend some of their money at home. That would make the Wood family a little richer, Sunshine Place a little brighter, and the people of Bayside a little happier. And after all, those three elements are what the true Texas spirit is all about.
Redevelopment Assistance Center in Corpus Christi was born out of a need that came out of the hurricane that struck Corpus Christi on August 3rd, 1970. Some architects from the American Institute of Architects chapter in Corpus Christi came to Austin to seek counsel and advice on how the architects of Corpus Christi might get involved in offering the kinds of services that are needed after a disastrous hurricane like Celia. Celia's damage came to over $500 million and left about 15,000 people homeless. The majority of the 15,000 people, of course, were poor people who had no sources to go to get assistance in getting their homes rebuilt. It was at this meeting in Austin that the School of Architecture became involved. I volunteered the assistance of students and faculty to do whatever we can as architects to help in setting up a center that would provide these services. My first observation in driving into Corpus Christi after the hurricane was to see that the wealthy or the affluent had immediate assistance because they had contacts with the building industry, with architects, that they were able to get immediate help. It was a considerably opposite situation when you went into the neighborhoods of the poor people because they did not have these resources, and therefore even after a week after the hurricane their houses were in the same shape that they were immediately after the hurricane. Another striking observation is to see the Corps of Engineers operating and clearing the debris after the storm. This agency was named to do this chore of clearing the streets and demolishing houses that were totally damaged, and to see their heavy machinery tearing down what was left of residences might suggest that if only we could reconstruct as fast as one can destruct. And part of the objectives of the Redevelopment Assistance Center and its activity is, of course, to expedite the reconstruction process. The first call for volunteers went out soon after the meeting with the Corpus Christi architects, and about 12 students volunteered to move to Corpus Christi for the fall semester, and they were the first staff to man the newly formed Redevelopment Assistance Center at Corpus Christi.
A lady we know in Rockport is making doll houses, and she's using real houses as her models.
Jane Turner has a home on Copano Bay. She spends a lot of time on the pier, participating in one of Rockport's most popular pastimes, watching the birds. Jane was born near Fayetteville, Arkansas, but her parents were basically Texans, and they sent her to school in Texas when she was 16 years old. She attended the University of Texas and graduated during wartime. She worked for the Air Force as an electronics technician for almost 30 years.
Then I retired and started doing my real work, which was playing, bird watching. I'm a professional bird watcher. All these other things are just hobbies.
Jane does a lot more than watch birds. She is an active member of the Rockport Art Association, and she builds dollhouses. Her dollhouse building started in the late 1970s when a friend suggested she build a dollhouse for her great-great-niece. Then a group trying to raise money for the hospital fund in Rockport asked her to build a dollhouse for them. And the Art Association asked her to build one to help them raise money. The Art Association's festival came first, so Jane built a dollhouse resembling some of the old homes she'd seen in Galveston. Then she built a replica of the Smith House in Rockport for the hospital fund. Jane's friend Estelle Stair informed her that members of the Mathis family were interested in having a replica of their old home place. Mathis was one of the founders of Rockport, and the Mathis home is one of the most historic in the area.
Walter Mathis tells us that the house was built back in the 1870s by his grandfather, Mr. T.H. Mathis, I believe, who was one of the members of the Fulton, Coleman, Mathis Land and Cattle Company that developed the area, Rockport area, and the area west of here. They built this house, and it's what they call a raised Greek Revival cottage. It's the main house is 6 rooms, and then the kitchen and bathroom wing on the back was added on the back. We took many, many pictures of the house inside and out, and attempted to copy all the architectural details of the house and as much of the furniture that is existing in the house as we possibly could.
Everything about the house Jane Turner built is as near like the original as she could make it. There are some improvisations, like the shell collection on the whatnot in the parlor. Jane says she doesn't know whether Grandmother Mathis had a shell collection, but if she didn't, she should have. The house is wired for electricity with a 12-volt electrical system in the basement. Members of the Rockport Art Association helped Jane with the house, doing the original paintings for the dollhouse, making replicas of Persian rugs, and gluing on every single shingle on the roof. The dollhouses Jane Turner builds are not children's toys. They are collectors' houses for grown-ups. And Jane has no intention of going into the dollhouse building business. She still prefers to be out with her binoculars and her Siamese cat, watching the birds.